what do you think is going to be the most weighty one? What's the most meaty one?
Well, it's a great question, Mike. My personal perspective is, I think look at all of them and try and pick the ones that are available for you, and understand the ones that you should try and to try and avail yourself. So the one that gets a lot of airtime now is everyone's. If you're a business that turns over less than 50 million, everyone's kind of hanging out for a $20,000 to $100,000 what they call a cash boost from the government, and that is automatically processed based on the profile of the business. So there's no form or elections to do. But for example, that's getting a lot of airtime, but you need to know when you're going to get it and how you're going to get it. And so what we're really seeing is, yes, you can get maybe 20,000 or 100,000, but it effectively will be paid across April to October. So it'll get staggered. So it's kind of knowing the amount and when. So yes, you get a cash credit, which is helpful. That's the one that the federal government's spring out a lot. The other thing, sometimes even if the government doesn't pay it to you, if they can help you get concessions, it's really valuable. So the government is also trying to help small, medium enterprises, again, turning over up to 50 million, get bank financing for working capital for $250,000. So they're effectively telling the banks, we're going to help guarantee working capital for 250K for small business. And that's really valuable. And they've also said, we'll help you get that loan, but we also want to make sure the banks don't charge you interest until you actually take out the money. And we want a 6-month holiday period on payment on the interest. Okay, so on repayment. Sorry. So that actually is really valuable, even though the government is not giving you the money; they're helping you get money.
So on that one, I think a lot of people are quizzing about, well, that's kind of lovely, but right now my numbers are looking way down. So if the bank looks at this and look at my serviceability of the loan,
yeah,
they would logically reject that because my business just went into the bucket.
Yeah.
So how do we know anything yet about the assessment criteria from the banks? I mean, I know
It's
you're
real.
not but
It's a great question, Mike. It's real time because it's literally only last weekend that they kind
I
of
know.
going to help it, and then the program hasn't launched yet. It's going to launch in April, but everyone needs to adjust. Everyone needs to help each other because we can't go. That's how we normally do the metrics of the financing. That's not the point. The point is the government saying, we know these are struggling businesses, but we want you to give them that money because then they can stay alive and employ people. So the banks need to readjust. And my hearing from people in the finance industry is that those banks are looking to adjust because they've got that security from the government or that strong mandate, and they need to be seen to be helping as well, right? Especially in this economy. So I mean that's coming out. I hope it will end up where it's supposed to end up, which is to help businesses, especially the number of conversations I had with clients, business owners that said they had the best month in February because the economy was actually doing pretty well, and then it's just completely dropped. So everyone's in the same bucket. It doesn't matter how healthy your business was. Everyone's had to adjust.
Yes.
So the banks need to adjust as well. We're all in it together.
I think that's a really important point. I think for everybody to acknowledge and while it may be hard to accept that, hey, we all went like that. It wasn't like, sure, there are obviously differences across the economy, but as a whole, almost all businesses have taken a hit because the economy as a whole is pulling back a bit. Now, that doesn't mean we're going into the dark ages and we're having pickaxes and stone tools in a couple of months, but it just means that we're taking we're taking a bit of a breather. Is that a reasonable way of interpreting it?
I go one step further. I don't want to be morbid, but I think we have to be honest. It's kind of the economy is going on life support, and we need to just keep it alive for this period because we've got a health crisis that is equally an economic crisis, like genuinely, because it affects everybody in that way. And obviously, all the data says people are more worried about the economy in some respects than the health crisis because that's the real concern. So I guess the only comfort I get is there's a lot of people out there in their mindset that are really upset, really in a dark space at the moment, but we're all in the same boat.
True.
But we hope we get out of this sooner than later.
Indeed, we have to.
We have to. Yeah, we will.
That's what we're going to do, a reboot.
Yes, that's right.
So what are some of the other things maybe less focused upon that people can also use to bolster their situation?
Yeah. A really important one is the Australian Tax Office has really stepped up to the plate to really help out in this time. So they've really helped out by effectively telling everyone that talk to us. We know that you're in a difficult situation. If you need to get a 6-month deferral of any payment obligations, we will effectively help you do that. Okay, so they've come out and said, if you need a payment deferral or payment plan, let us know. We've been doing a lot of that with a lot of our clients, and they've been really helpful. So they've actually been very compassionate in the current circumstances. They also know that everyone's profitability is going to significantly dip. So what normally happens is businesses pay tax installments as expected for their profitability. They're effectively saying, you can vary your installment now to 0, and any tax you've paid on the way through for September, December quarters, we'll refund that for you. Okay, so any tax you've paid up front, we're going to give it back to you, but you have to apply for it. Okay, so they've been really, really helpful from that perspective as well. They've also said, broadly speaking, we know you need to get through this period, so we're not. Our mandate is not to go and start auditing you and slowing you down in your business by reviewing your. And even if we are reviewing you, we'll relook at the way that we're reviewing you now, because we know you've got higher priorities. So they genuinely have been really quite helpful when they needed to review and stamp out, I call it, the tax sheets they have, but now they've really shifted their priorities. So no, they've been. So I think speak to your accountants. Definitely look at all the incentive opportunities there to work with the ATO to help structure deferral of obligations. You're not saying you're not going to pay it. You're just saying I need time to get over this period. Still get on top of your lodgement obligations, but there is a lot of relief there.
Right.
So the ATO is the other big one that I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's definitely a big one, and I know that there's been conversations around rent relief as well. I believe in Victoria, in government buildings, that's already in place, but in private landlords, it's not in place yet. Do you have any updates on that?
Yeah, just Victoria, for argument's sake. The Victorian government had said, we will have a conversation with you to give you rent relief. I don't fully know what that means, but I just know if you're in a government building, speak to your representative and discuss a period of relief. Same with the City of Melbourne. And they're kind of doing it in that sense to say, as a leadership thing, speak private owners, you should be doing that same with your tenants as well. So yes, again, this is part of that broader thing where everyone needs to adjust to help each other.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the law says. Well, it doesn't matter what your contract says as such. It kind of all needs to be adjusted right now.
Well, we're almost like in a sort of force majeure situation, the whole freaking economy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't really fully understand what that meant until this whole bunch of terminologies have come out.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we've already had some clients that have had very positive and very meaningful conversations with their respective landlords. That the landlord's obviously not happy, but they're going, yeah, we understand the situation you're in, and yeah, we'll figure something out, is pretty much what they're all saying. Yeah. Because what I think the smart landlords also understand is that if they were to kick their tenants out, they're not going to get another one for probably 2 years.
Yeah.
So that's probably economically not so smart. So let's just work it through. And I'm certainly seeing a lot of collaborative wisdom popping up in lots of pockets all over the city landscape.
I think both you and I appreciate that right now. People this is not normal. And so everyone needs to help each other out. And because at the end of it, right, it's going to be when we get to the other side, it's what kind of relationships and what kind of help did you give everyone during this period? Because people will bounce back. And I guess people will remember if you've really helped them during that period or...
I agree.
Yeah. And that's why I really resonate with what you're trying to do as well, because as an accountant, for example, our relationship with clients is lifelong. Hopefully, it's lifelong.
It should be.
Yeah, and so we really have to really appreciate where they're coming from, because it doesn't matter if they were a really good client for 20 years. They could be in a position where they're financially in trouble, right?
Yes.
For no fault of their own, apart from they've been told to shut their business down. So, yeah, we're just in a very unique situation at the moment.
We sure are.